Hello, this is the Roaster, and welcome to my 9 Fujin LUFENIA clear. I've already cleared the event. This is a post-processed voice recording. So what's my general plan here? Well, I have an all-offense team. Garland with the burst and the Fujin call, because that's going to be important for Terra to deal any damage, because this fight is heavily resistant to magic. So if you want to bring magic users, they need to be able to do dark magic, wind magic, or they are enchanted for either, because dealing any other kind of elemental damage to these enemies will cause counter, remove debuffs, remove your buffs, you know, the sort of thing where you can't really play around. And then of course Golbez is there to deal damage and to deal weakness damage as well. So the general plan here is delay them as much as I can. That's why I brought Cloud and Amidatelion call. Try and get their turns as low as possible, and then bring in a Golbez Friend, which is I'm gonna do about now. So the plan is just to get as much damage in as possible until Garland's last turn before the enemies take a turn. So this is an all-offense team. There's no tank, there's no healer, there's no support. It's just a pure boss rush. So the main gist of the strategy is delaying the boss so much with Garland, especially when he's gonna do his burst. And then Garland's gonna have the Fujin call on him, which is gonna last quite a while because Garland is pretty slow. Right now we have the two Golbezes dealing as much weakness damage as possible. When the orb pops up at about 75% HP from the two adds, their weakness damage is gonna cause the orb not to tick down. And then when Garland uses the Fujin call and goes on burst, he's gonna be dealing weakness damage as well, so the orb shouldn't be ticking down. And then by the time the Golbez Friend leaves and Terra comes back, Garland should still have his Fujin call up, which means Terra can deal weakness damage with the wind enchant, and then she's just gonna use all her LDs in a row. So with this run, if you had better turn planning in your run with this exact team composition, you should be able to weave a few of Garland's turns in between Terra's LDs. But I didn't really do it. You'll see in a bit. I'm not gonna do a good job planning around Terra and Garland's turns, and by the time Terra comes back, Garland only has one turn left on the Fujin call. That means I couldn't afford to let Garland take a turn in between Terra. That's why I'm gonna use all of Terra's LDs all in a row. We should be bursting here. There's the Fujin call for the enchant, wind enchant. And then here's the burst. It's just gonna be the standard Garland AoE burst rotation, which is 2 round slashes. Garland's just gonna target the boss non-stop because Golbez and Terra definitely have enough AoE potential on them to deal with the two adds, so that Garland can just focus on the boss. Now, honestly, I guess I could have done Garland. Garland could have done a call after the burst, because what happened there was I did the call and then I did the burst. So after the burst, the call counter ticked down by 1 already. So as I said, by the time Terra comes back, Garland only has 1 more turn left of the call on him. So I couldn't afford to let Garland get a turn in between Terra's LDs. Then Golbez, we just keep using his AoE attack until the adds are dead, and then after that we're just gonna keep doing the single target attack. And then just a buff on Terra. I think I was thinking what I should do here, but yeah, I'm gonna buff and then I'm gonna LD. And then I'm just gonna spam the AoE ability, the first skill, Meltdown, and alternating between adds 1 and 2 to keep their orbs from ticking down. Because for the orbs to tick up, they need to receive weakness brave damage, and Terra's AoE skill only does brave damage to the main target and HP damage to the others. So if you just keep targeting the boss, which I'm gonna do here, but I'm gonna realize my mistake in a bit. If you just keep targeting the boss, both adds are gonna get that receive that HP damage, but the orb's gonna keep ticking down because they're not receiving brave damage. Yeah, if you wanna skip ahead, go ahead and skip, because this is just gonna be Terra using up all her LDs in a row. So basically, Terra LD using AoE skill, alternating between the two adds, and that's it. If the EX is charged, use the EX. So pros and possible con with this team is if you don't deal enough damage, which you should, because that's the point of these 3 characters. They are very hard-hitting offensive characters. So realistically, it shouldn't be a problem, but just in case it does happen, if you don't deal enough damage, you might run into a problem, because after the Fujin call falls off, you'll still have the Diablos Summon, which will let Terra deal weakness damage during that summon period. But after those 2 things are gone, Terra is not really useless, but really weak, because once again, the boss resists magic damage. And after Fujin Call wears off, after the Diablo Summon period is done, Terra will just be dealing regular resisted damage, since she doesn't have any kind of enchant on her own. So that's really the only problem with this, possible problem with this party composition, is if you don't deal damage fast enough, Terra is gonna be dead weight by the last quarter of this fight. She's not useless because she batteries herself before attacks. So she will be dealing at least 20 to 30,000 HP damage because of her self-battery. But of course, you know, that's not really much. It helps. It means she's not useless, but it is weak. It's weak damage. However, Golbez and Garland are gonna do more than enough damage to compensate for Terra's resisted damage. You see here, Terra is now gonna be resisted, so she's not gonna be dealing that much damage. However, 30,000 is better than 0. So honestly, yeah, here we go. No more ads, and the boss is now at around, what's that? 35% HP. And the boss has taken 0 turns as of now. I'm just gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna kill it fast enough for a 0 turn. It's gonna have 1 turn towards the end of this fight, but doesn't really do damage because, as you can see, its recast is not fully activated. It's not fully charged up. So when it does get its turn, it's just gonna do a regular attack and it's not gonna do its recast. So I got lucky and I didn't get any HP damage in this fight. And I should be doing Diablos now, because if I don't, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Terra's gonna be able to deal a bit more damage here because she'll be able to hit for weakness. But after this, Terra's gonna be in that permanent weak damage state. But as I said, it doesn't matter because both the Garland and especially Golbez hits like a truck. Now, if you don't want to risk it with Terra, honestly, you can use other delayers such as Aranea. I wouldn't suggest Cloud because this enemy resists Paralyze, so you'll be gutting a huge part of Cloud's kit. So yeah, if you have Aranea would work like a pretty good substitute to Terra. Because instead of Terra taking a bunch of turns, Aranea is just gonna keep delaying the boss with Garland. And she does deal quite a bit of AoE damage as well. So yeah, Aranea can be a good replacement for Terra if you don't want to risk like this here, Terra being kind of like a sitting duck and just doing 20 to 30,000 HP damage. But as I said, Golbez and Garland are gonna compensate for that 100%, 200% even. By this time, you should still have a lot of Golbez and Garland LD uses. And since the enemy's just about to die, just keep using them. So yeah, you can see from the turn count that this is where I failed to keep it a 0 boss turn run. It's gonna get 1 turn on me, but it's just gonna do a regular attack. It's not gonna deal HP damage. So everything's good. Yeah, and this should be it. Either Golbez or Garland. Garland's gonna get a turn in. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in on my LUFENIA clear. I hope anything I said, showed, or have written down in the description has helped you clear this event. There's a bunch more other videos in the Call to Arms list that features different types of party compositions. Make sure to check that out as well. And I'll see you guys on the next LUFENIA.